Welcome to the Par Days channel. Today, we explain Deuteronomy chapter 24 in a clear and simple way, step by step. You know, this chapter presents just a fascinating, rapid-fire sequence of societal laws, but it's not just a collection of random rules. It's essentially the ultimate blueprint for building a genuinely compassionate society. Today, we're going to look really closely at these verses and uncover the simple, direct meaning behind every single one. So here's our agenda for this explainer. We'll start with our hook and context, move into family and community laws covering verses 1 through 9, dive into loans and justice for verses 10 through 18, explore the harvest of charity in verses 19 to 22, highlight some key ideas, and wrap it all up with life lessons and a quick recap. Let's get right into it. Section 1, Hook and Context, the Blueprint of Society. To really understand what's going on in this chapter, we first have to understand exactly where we are in the narrative. As the Israelites prepare to finally cross the Jordan River, Moses is delivering highly practical instructions. He's helping them transition from being desert wanderers to a settled, functioning nation. And these aren't abstract philosophical concepts either. We're talking about gritty, real-world laws for the farmer, the lender, the employer, the newlywed. These rules govern the actual, sometimes really messy interactions of daily human life. Moving on to Section 2, Family and Community Laws, covering verses 1 through 9. Here we see strict boundaries established for family integrity and community health. Let's walk through this. Verses 1 through 4 detail a very specific domestic situation. Imagine a man writes his wife a certificate of divorce and sends her away, and she then marries a second husband. Well, a boundary has been crossed there. If that second marriage also ends, whether the second husband divorces her or passes away, the text states clearly that her first husband is strictly forbidden from marrying her again. It actually calls doing so detestable. And the simple meaning here is that this prevents the degradation of marriage. It ensures the institution isn't treated casually or just used for manipulation. Then we get to verse 5, which offers just a beautiful law regarding newly formed families. A newlywed man is completely exempt from military or public duties for 1 full year. Literally 1 year. He's not to be sent to war, and no other communal duty can be laid on him. Why? Well, the text explicitly tells us, simply to stay home and bring happiness to his new wife. It's prioritizing the foundation of the home over the demands of the state. How amazing is that? Moving right along to verse 6, the focus shifts to economic survival. The text explicitly forbids taking a person's upper millstone as a pledge for a debt. In the ancient world, you absolutely needed this heavy stone to grind grain into flour every single day. So taking it as collateral means you are literally taking away someone's ability to eat. It's a complete non-starter. Verse 7 really highlights the severity of human rights. It demands the death penalty for anyone who kidnaps a fellow Israelite to sell them or treat them as a slave. The text literally says, you must purge the evil from among you. Freedom is sacred here, and stealing a person's freedom to turn a quick profit is treated as the absolute ultimate crime against the community. Next up, verses 8 and 9 briefly but firmly command the people to follow the priest's exact instructions regarding leprous diseases. Moses tells them to do exactly as the Levite priests instruct, and, crucially, he says to remember what God did to Miriam along the way after they came out of Egypt. It's a really potent historical reminder. Community health protocols and the authorities managing them absolutely must be respected by everyone, no matter their status. All right, Section 3, Loans, Pledges, and Justice, covering verses 10 through 18. Let's see how this builds into an incredible system of financial ethics. What's really fascinating here is how verses 10 and 11 protects a borrower's dignity. When you make a loan, you cannot just barge into your neighbor's home to grab collateral. No way. You must stand outside and wait for the borrower to bring it out to you. Even when they're in debt, the borrower's home remains their safe sanctuary. It's about basic human respect. Verses 12 and 13 add another layer of profound empathy. Say a poor borrower gives his cloak as a pledge. You cannot sleep with it in your possession. You have to return it by sunset. Why? Because for a poor person, their cloak was often their one and only blanket against the freezing cold night. Human warmth and sheer survival always trump financial leverage. Verses 14 and 15 protect the working class. You must not take advantage of a hired worker who is poor and needy. You have to pay hired workers, whether they're fellow Israelites or aliens living in your towns, every single day before sunset. The reasoning is incredibly direct because he is poor and is counting on it. Delaying a worker's wages when they live day to day means that they and their family might literally go hungry that very night. Then verse 16 establishes an absolute cornerstone of modern justice: individual responsibility. It explicitly states that fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor children for their fathers. Making sure that innocent family members are never punished for someone else's crimes was a truly revolutionary concept in the ancient world. Each person is accountable for their own actions. Verses 17 and 18 expand this justice to the most vulnerable folks in society. The law outright forbids depriving the alien, the foreigner, and the fatherless of justice. It also explicitly says never to take the cloak of a widow as a pledge. And the text grounds this command in a powerful historical memory. It reminds the Israelites that they too were once slaves in Egypt and God redeemed them. Because they knew what it felt like to be powerless, they have an obligation to actively protect the powerless among them. Moving to section 4, the harvest of charity, looking at verses 19 through 22. We finished the chapter's walkthrough with this truly ingenious system of agricultural charity built directly into the economy. Instead of maximizing profits by scraping up every last resource, farmers are strictly commanded to deliberately leave a portion of their harvest behind. If you overlook a sheaf of grain in the field, don't go back for it. When you beat your olive trees, don't go over the branches a second time. Harvesting your vineyard, don't go back over the vines to pick the leftovers. And who are these leftovers for? The text repeats it 3 times for emphasis: for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. Section 5. Key ideas and clarifications. Now that we've seen the step-by-step meaning of the chapter, let's just clarify a couple of key concepts to fully grasp the weight of these laws. You've probably noticed the text repeatedly mentions the alien right alongside the fatherless and widow. In this ancient societal structure, your protection and your economic survival were largely tied to your family and your tribe's land inheritance. The alien, or the stranger residing among them, had none of that. So the repeated pairing of the alien, fatherless, and widow proves that biblical law intentionally designed an economic safety net for the exact people who simply couldn't protect themselves through normal societal channels. Which brings us to section 6, life lessons and recap. The crucial question we have to ask is, how do we take these ancient societal laws and apply their profound ethical lessons to our modern lives today? Well, the practical takeaways challenge us to conduct our business with genuine compassion. It's not just about protecting property. It's about protecting dignity, like standing outside the borrower's home. It challenges us to respect personal boundaries, to pay our workers or contractors promptly because they rely on it, and to actually systematize our charity. The harvest laws teach us that our abundance isn't solely for our maximum profit. A portion fundamentally belongs to the marginalized. And this brilliantly illustrates the heart of the entire chapter. Why do we do all of this? Verses 18 and 22 end with the exact same powerful anchor. Remember that you are slaves in Egypt. God demands that our past hardships become the exact source of our present empathy. Because the Israelites knew the bitter sting of oppression in Egypt, they were obligated to build a society that utterly refuses to oppress others. It is empathy through memory. So ask yourself today, how can you use your own past struggles to build a more compassionate world right where you are? Thank you for learning with us. If this helped you understand the chapter better, like, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter.